So we talked before about how there's going to be a lot of abbreviation, right? Average total cost can also be expressed as average cost. So when we're looking here, we can read this as short run average cost and long run average cost. And we define the short run average cost as just the average cost curve that we just modeled at the beginning of this chapter, right? In chapter 7.2, in subsection 7.2. So those short run average cost curves, those are going to relate to different fixed costs and different production technologies. So we're going to have one short run average cost curve that looks something like this. We're going to have another short run average cost curve that looks something like this. We'll have another one that looks like this. We'll have one that looks like this. Sorry, 2, I can count, I promise. And we'll have another that looks like this. And so these are all, again, having to do with different capital costs and different technological choices in their production technology. And then what we're going to do to get a long run average cost curve is we're going to take what's called the lower envelope of these short run average cost curves. And then from there, we do a bit of smoothing out of these nonlinearities, right? These pointy bits. You never want pointy bits. You can't differentiate pointy bits. And so we smooth this out until it looks something that we recognize. Burp. Nope, nope. Poor little computer. Trying your best, I know. Where we got cost, we've got output, and we have a situation like this. So we take the outer envelope of those short-run average cost curves, we smooth them out to create a long-run average cost curve. And in this particular long-run average cost curve, we actually have 3 different ranges that are important. So we have 3 different ranges that are important here. When we are talking about the range up until this point, right here, so if we, let's see here, let's use green. So this point here, this is all our increasing returns to scale, otherwise known as our economies of scale region. So in this region, you can decrease your average cost by increasing your total output. We have another region here, which is our constant returns to scale, otherwise known as our CRS, constant returns to scale. And then the last part that we have is going to be the decreasing returns to scale, otherwise known as diseconomies of scale. Diseconomies of scale happen when, by increasing your output, you increase your average total cost. So if this is the situation that we're in, you want to be producing somewhere in, this region, right? You want to be producing in the constant returns to scale. You don't want to be having higher scale, higher average costs because you're not producing too much, and you don't want to push and try to produce way too many and then lose control of the unwieldy giant conglomerate machine that you have given birth to, right? So sometimes this is what it looks like, and you can kind of navigate anywhere between this range and still be operating kind of competitively. Other times we're going to see much more cut and dry long run average cost curves that look like this, that have a very clear minimum point where that's the only place where you want to be, is right at or around that minimum point. So sometimes it's going to be flat bottomed, sometimes it's going to be round and have a clear nadir. Questions on long run average cost curves? Can't believe I got through that in an hour. That was awesome.